I'm Chris McIntyre, and welcome back to Almost Above Average, the podcast where Jonathan Travis and I dig into the big questions shaping our world. In this episode, we're exploring brain scarcity, what it means, where it comes from, and how it's challenging technology, education, and the political landscape. We'll talk about the erosion of knowledge in the U.S. and the impact of tariffs on manufacturing and the real-world consequences of today's economic policies. Plus, we'll get into the brain drain phenomenon, the rise of authoritarianism, and what this could all mean for America's future. Join us for this candid, thought-provoking conversation that goes beyond the headlines, only on Almost Above Average, and now with Jonathan Travis.
And we're live, back on Almost Above Average. What's up, Mr. Jonathan Travis? Welcome back.
Hello. Thanks for having me back, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a little fun little series we got going on. I think we'll keep going.
Yeah.
You and I were kind of chatting off camera between the last episode and now, and we're kind of talking about the topic of brain scarcity and kind of how it relates to what's going on in our world today. So what I wanted to start with is just the definition of brain scarcity according to Perplexity AI. So brain scarcity refers to a limited availability of cognitive resources, such as skilled, educated, or creative individuals within a community or society. It also describes the mental state that arises when people are intensely focused on what they lack, which can narrow thinking and impair decision-making. So that's just kind of a rough definition of it. How does that line up with your definition, Jonathan?
No, that's dead on. And it is so prominent and overlooked and misunderstood going into the recent events the last few weeks. It's mind-boggling.
Right. It's hard to keep up with I almost think we need to record. We'll probably have to record every week because there's stuff coming out every week that if we record it 2 weeks from now, we're going to miss it. You know what I mean?
Swear, we could do every day and still not cover every bit of nonsense is going on right now.
But I think I got the time for at least weekly. We can at least do that.
So brain scarcity, it's interesting. So historical context. At the winding down of World War II, we made a bunch of very specialized exceptions for knowledge transfer from Nazi Germany into the United States. In fact, a lot of the Nazis came over that were on the rocket programs to help fuel the NASA space race against the Russians in the later stages. In fact, a lot of our biggest achievements came on the back of Germany developed weapon systems.
The atom bomb, right?
Well, that was Einstein and a few others. But I'm talking about that was mostly American. Now, the Germans were trying to develop it, if I remember correctly, but we beat them to the punch. So
I thought we stole Einstein from Germany.
We did.
Yeah.
We 100% did. But yeah, we got it there. But the rocket technology itself was a huge boost to our... And if they had gotten that ahead of us, intercontinental ballistic missiles would have been really bad for the war.
So we've given preferential treatment to some of these highly skilled trades, as it were.
Oh, yeah. And that brought us a whole new era in technology that I don't think a lot of people really quite understand the impact on. The space race alone, and people get all excited like, oh, well, we got the space. Well, yeah, that was part of it. But there's so many technologies came out, new medicine, new technology for equipment, for medical repairs and all that kind of stuff, and ideas for how to do new jets and new vehicle propulsions, new engine development, new fuel sources, just astronomical. The number of the microwave it's huge how much just bringing that knowledge in, that scientific proliferance in changed us. And we have significantly eroded our knowledge base by dumbing down our educational system to the point to where we're no longer at the apex of knowledge in a lot of different areas, which is why China's given us such a run for money.
And that seems to be worldwide. That seems to be kind of accepted worldwide, that America is no longer this, powerhouse that we once were.
And that's what makes the Apple tariffs and the chip tariffs so significant. I've gotten into multiple conversations about that, and people without the technological background don't understand the significance of what we're missing. It's like not knowing how to put bricks together and being handed a bunch of bricks and saying good luck or something. But you had to build the bricks too, right? Okay, I'll go get mud then. But the knowledge and experience, but more importantly, the tooling that exists from being built up on cheap labor for the past, 20-ish years out of China has afforded a skill set and a knowledge set we don't have here. So when they're like, well, let's bring those jobs back, it's like, we don't have the ability to. There's not the people, there's not the tooling, there's not the
I heard that
facilities.
perspective yet, though, that, yeah, there's a knowledge gap that you can't just bring them over because that training took years and years and years. And
Decades.
those processes, right?
Yeah. And they have the equipment to manufacture it. And I'll get into that a little bit more into specifics in a second. But if anybody wants to look it up, go look up Apple's recent yield rates for India versus China. China has very high yield rates, like, was it these or something? 90% of the product coming off the line is fine, but it's less than 50% out of India because they don't have the knowledge, expertise, or the tooling to be able to generate functioning circuit boards out of their facilities. Like, right. And they're saying it may be 5 to 10 years before that is up and running, if it ever gets up and running. But then, we have them with the tariffs saying, no, do it here. It's like, we can't even get in China where it costs a fraction of what it is in the next 5 years. You really think we're going to get it up and running in the United States in the next week? Come on. That's ridiculous.
That's bananas. Those people that are saying that, it is a pipe dream to think that Americans are going to build iPhones.
Well, it's so much harder than people expect. So what makes the generation of chip after generation of chip more and more capable is the reduction in the circuit pathways and the ability to have them tighter. So if you imagine these are two wires, if they get from like this thickness to this thickness, they can get them closer together, but it also takes less material. But the continual shrinking of that wire, or whatever you want to call it, in the chip requires more specific, more precise, more fault-tolerant technology. We don't have that here. So what are we down to, like 3 nanometer circuit pathways? We can't even do 5 here reliably.
I don't even know what that means. That sounds really tiny.
Very.
like a hair follicle, maybe.
Way less. So yeah, that whole concept is just ironic and moronic. So Trump putting a 25% tariff means one of two pass, and neither of them are good for America. So it comes down to, in my mind.
Why did they even go into?
Because of that 150% tariff on China. Was it 145% tariff
to India?
Yeah. So that China had a significantly lower inbound tariff than China did. So when Trump hit China, he hit them with everything he had. 5%, I think, was the tariff on the import of any products out of China over. It was any for a while. Then minimus came in with an 800 minimum. That's, most iPhones are over that anyway. So I don't know if you heard, but Apple sent in multiple plane loads. I don't remember if it was like 2 or 6 like jumbo jets worth of millions of dollars and pre-built, stored over there iPhones into the US to bridge them until they were able to figure out what it is. And then they said, well, screw Trump, we're going to go build them in India where it's equivalently cheap, and we'll just move the stuff over. And they couldn't get the yield rates. Now I don't know if they're abandoning it or not, but they're saying, oh, we're hosed, we're going to just have to go with it. And now
just keep it in China.
Well, if you think about the profit margin on an iPhone being 80% of the total cost of the phone, it's like 200 manufacturer, 1,000 to buy, so that's $800 in profit, right? Now, profit, you have to also abstract out the technological capabilities of designing it and testing it and all the people that took all the efforts and marketing. So I don't know what actual net profits are on the other side, but let's assume they're 50% just for funsies. So if you have a import cost, which is now 30%, you're still going to make 20% of that. So $200 per iPhone. I mean, that's out $300. You get your expenses paid back for R&D and the production of it. So it still sounds like a win. But if you try to build it here, like not shipping an iPhone for the next 8 years is dumb.
It barely sounds like a win, though.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah, I suppose.
Or it's better than
like
trying to
getting any profit at all.
Well, I mean, who here is going to buy a $3,000 iPhone out of China at 145%?
I hope we don't have to find that out.
Well, we're bumping heads right now, right? So the iPhone 17 release is going to be September, October, based on precedents. So if it's a 30% tariff base plus a 25% additional iPhone tax, that's 55% of 1,000, so that's $550. If Apple tries to eat some of the cost, like it could be anywhere from $1,100 to $1,500 for a new 17 Air.
Well, that doesn't sound too bad. That's bad.
No, but you can't manufacture them in the U.S., so they have to they're going to have to mark it up, which is what every single major company is talking about doing right now, or because they got to make their profit. Telling Walmart to eat the tariffs is ridiculous. If they ate the tariffs, they would be negative. I think it was 25% margin.
The balls of that anyway, like, hey, Walmart, just go ahead and I would like for you to take less profit, please, because I'm making these decisions.
But even that is ignorance, because do you know what they came out and said they net about 5 to 7% per product. So a 25 or 20 to 30% tariff on top of that would mean a negative 15 to 25% margin on it. Negative. They would sell at a loss, not just hurting their margins, but significantly reversing their margins.
Yeah. That's tough to do. They almost have to do some of that just to keep their customers coming in.
Well, the other part of it too is Trump's going to push, and what will end up happening is one of two things. Either he bends or the stock shelves will go empty until people get mad enough to force his hand.
Well, it sounds like he already kind of reversed it on China, right? He started at what, 130 or 140 or something like that, and now he's back to, I fucking don't know.
It was like 20% and it went up to 145, and then de minimis, which is the 800 or less exception, kind of went in and out. And then there was like a special exception in for a little bit for chips, but now it's back to, I want to say 30%, something like that. But that's still 30%. No one can ever
nothing. You can never really know exactly what the tariffs are. He changes them so often and so much that even his own staff doesn't know when they're questioned about it.
Yeah, U.S. Customs said they weren't even able to capture these tariffs until like a few weeks ago or something. People were just shipping in anyway. But now that the ships have stopped coming in,
now what? Everyone's looking
problem
for
solved. Well, when people start running out of clothes, that 3 mil thing's going to start popping up, and it'll be like clothes and other stuff next.
What thing is that?
So there's this 3 meals policy. At any given time, if the general populace misses 3 meals consecutively, that's when you get into a revolution. Like, you can almost guarantee a revolution on the other side of it. People hitting the streets with pitchforks. It's the 3 meal policy.
That makes
3
sense.
missed meals. And we're getting ready to hit that if they don't do something with some of these prices coming in. Either the prices are going to be outrageous and they can't afford it, or the stock shelves are going to be empty. It's going to be one or the other. But right now, everybody's lining up to raise prices. Even Amazon had leaked out that they were going to put the amount on there of the tariff, but other companies are now doing that.
Yeah.
There's a variety of different companies that are saying Trump tariffs, 75%.
I hope that sends the right message. Like, hey, this is exactly what you're voted for. Your president is doing this.
And that word is getting around. There was a farmer in Northern America, North Midwest or whatever, and he imported fertilizer and getting hit with like a $38,000 bill on top. And he's like, I don't understand. I voted for Trump. We're supposed to fix this. And now he's going out of business. Whoopsies.
So many stories like that. Like, I follow a lot of different creators online, and every day there's just so many stories of. I saw one today, a deportation of a Trump-supporting Cuban rapper voted for Trump, and now he was pleading with the court to not deport him because he's going to get deported now.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. But back to the brain drain, as we are calling it, there's a huge push from Europe, China, and other countries are offering relocation packages for those with specialties. Like, I could go, because of my specialty, I could get a payout to move to another country to deliver my knowledge set based on my specialty over in other countries.
Specific to your home country or to any country?
Germany and UK and a few others have different packages companies are offering, and the government's offering as a whole. Norway and some other countries are offering opportunities to move over there. It's been within the last year or so, yeah. It's been picking up. Germany's had it for a few years, but China's doing a whole bunch of stuff. And in other countries, like UK went on this whole anti-AI thing, and now they're trying to ramp up because they're way behind, and without the U.S. being an ally, they got to move, right? So they're trying to pick it up, and they're offering opportunities over there like crazy.
Huh. I wonder if that has something to do with Donald Trump. I mean...
yeah. Like, if you're going to risk deporting anybody that's here, and you're here with a specialty, Like, if you think about how many people come over to this country, get a visa or green card or whatever, and they're working here with a high level specialty in an area that we need, like cancer research, for example. There was a lady here, can't remember what country it was from, maybe it was China or something, and she's facing deportation right now. And she was on the verge of a major cancer breakthrough at some place. Like, everybody was following it, everybody was super excited. And now she has to leave the country, and that whole research line will die in the US and get picked up in another country when she gets moved over to this other company. So now we've lost brain capabilities, specifics, and skills like we were talking about over there.
The credit for her breakthrough is going to go to that country that gets the research, picks it up.
And we're going to pay through the nose for it on this side, yeah. Right. If we get it at all, because RFK. But anyway, vaccines. And then there's the other thing, too, with Trump going to war with Harvard. He's shutting down the ability for them to accept international students, and new universities are coming online offering specialty packages for those individuals who go to school overseas. So not only are we missing out on the opportunity to train these people and bring them into the U.S. with these specialized skill sets, and they're going to other countries, our ability to teach is going to be significantly diminished, because some of these people stay on to teach the next and help continually raise the bar. Now the bar is just going to fall. And with the funding issues that these universities are facing, who knows how many are going to survive on the other side of this. So we're losing education on that. Now they're defunding the Department of Education. They're trying to shut that down. Like, the ability for somebody to get the education here and be superior in knowledge set and skills to other countries in the last 50 years has almost gone away, and we're on the verge of it completely flipping the other direction, if it hasn't already.
I think we're turning to Gilead.
That is very common. And when you really get into, and for those who don't know, The Handmaid's Tale is a great representation of some of the values that are being pushed right now, like making it very hard for women to vote is a big one, or not having control over their body, not being able to perform life-saving measures under extreme circumstances, not being able to make any decisions on various things, not being able to get divorced is a big one. The no-fault divorces being repealed, which is pretty interesting. And then property ownership is a whole new thing. But the voting one was the big one. That was a shocking one. But when you add it all up, yeah, Gilead is where we're headed with a lot of this stuff. And that's what a lot of people voted for. A third of the population voted for that because they felt like if they lived in that, they would be superior, they'd feel comfortable, they'd feel strong, and they would have the whatever you want to put in the sentence.
That of people is the most like self-conscious, unconfident, like they don't have anything going for them. So all they really have is like this man who says he can make everything happen for them. He can make all their dreams come true.
So there's this really cool psychological study that was saying it's better to demonize than it is to point out the awesome. And basically, one of the things that the Republican Party has been really aggressive at for like forever is demonizing different individuals. But they've gotten a lot better at it because of social media and the lower educational standard in the country and the proliferant lack of critical thinking skills, along with a lot of psychological behavior manipulation tactics that are used to basically remove the ability for people to think. And then when you add on significantly poorer environments and conditions, lower socioeconomic standards by middle class dissipation, and the significantly increased amount of health issues the average American faces, like what was that I said before? Ignorance is easily filled by conspiracy. The conspiracies that, this QAnon and all those guys pushed completely led to this belief that the MAGA toe line will get us to a guy lid and bring back white superiority became very prevalent. That's why we have Nazis marching in the streets nowadays.
Yeah, ICE is very bold nowadays in our country.
ICE is now
attitude and their approach.
ICE is raiding courtrooms, getting people trying to get naturalized now.
Yeah, they've got green lights coming from.
What was it? She not Bondi, Nomi said, stop comparing the ICE agents with the SS, the Nazi SS. It's like or the Gestapo. Sorry, and it's like, okay, yeah, you're right. It's more the SS.
Yeah. It's not funny, but seriously, what the fuck is going on?
If it wasn't so bad, I'd be laughing, crying. Now I'm just crying on the inside. But yeah, it's like If
you
they
see,
show
you
up,
see
they're
how
going to
they
strip you
try
of your rights and deport you, beat you, or harass you, sexually abuse you, all these different things, steal your kids, steal your baby, steal your life. And if you fight back, you're going to die. Like, yeah, it's exactly the same thing. And
and
if you
how they
look at,
defend it, like in Congress or in court, is ridiculous. Like they don't make sense when they can't answer a question. It's like they don't give a shit. It
no,
doesn't
no,
matter. I'm not going to answer that question. I'm going to steamroll it, and
yeah,
you know,
somebody came out with a recent article in the last few days that was talking about this. The Trump administration is no longer trying to win court cases. This is not how he and his party work. They work by delay.
yeah,
If you look at
just keep
all of
starting
Trump's
court cases,
convictions and
appeals.
yeah, delay, obscure. It's the president. We can't push too hard, the judge will say. And like they've been in contempt of court over that one guy, I forget what, the Maryland guy, for like how long, and nothing has happened with it.
Kilmar Abrego.
And then was it the FBI guy, the FBI director? I forget his name.
Hegstaff?
No.
Cash Patel?
Yeah, I think it was him, put forth a bill this week to reallocate the authority of the U.S. Marshals to the Trump administration so that it would not be controlled as an independent enforcement bureau by the courts. Because that's what, the courts used to rely on. Call up the marshals,
Not
get
surprised.
them to go arrest
No one
them.
on the MAGA side is ever going to hear about that, see about it, or believe it when you tell them about it. But
Well,
this is the kind of shit that happens all the time in the background on the MAGA side, right?
And if you look at a new addition to the big, beautiful bill, strips judges of the ability to
contempt, hold them in contempt. That's basically the keys to all power.
Yeah. So you're neutering our judicial system, and it might as well not even exist at this point.
How ballsy is that? They're already ignoring Supreme Court orders, and now they're putting it into the bill, like, yeah, we're going to ignore Supreme Court orders, and also we're going to take away your ability to hold me in contempt when I do ignore these orders.
Yeah.
That's fucking ridiculous.
And it's probably going to pass, and it's probably going to be
Right.
enforced. And I would not be surprised if several of the Supreme Court justices were arrested within a few weeks of that.
Sure. The judges will be arrested.
So when I talk about brain drain, like, why the hell would anybody even try to come here? And then we're neutering everything we got here. It's like, nah. People are lit. What was it? The highest number of applications for new citizenships in Europe was in the last month.
I'm sure a bunch of Americans filled those out.
No, it was all Americans.
All Americans, yeah.
Americans are the ones that can afford it, trying to get the hell out.
I mean, I love the country. I don't like where it's at right now. I mean, if I had the means, I would live somewhere else.
I don't see how we're not living the birth of the Fourth Reich.
That's what I'm saying. It makes no sense. He's doing all this shit right in front of everyone. And all of his defenders, every time they're asked about it, like they all know their role. Yeah, just fucking bullshit on camera and go away.
I will say, since the last time we chatted, there's been some insights based on some of the stuff I've been seeing. I don't know that I believe Trump's at the center of this anymore. I think he's just getting puppeted. There was an article, or no, there's a video clip of him getting ready to sign a bill, an EO. And he goes, "What is this for?" He didn't even know what it was. And they had to explain it to him. He's still like, "All right, whatever." And he just signs it. He didn't even know what it was. So he's not on top of this.
No.
They're just using him. This is almost like elder abuse in my mind, where they're just making him abuse his ability to get whatever they want. He doesn't even know what's going on.
Speaking of cognitive ability, how about all the crap that everyone used to say about Joe Biden last year? You could almost say the exact same things about Trump now.
And I don't know that it was inappropriate that they were saying that. Like, there were definitely a variety of different moments watching him talk that I was not super happy. And the fact that he has come out with fatal level prostate cancer within months of leaving office, like, there's no way the doctors missed that. That's crap. They carried him through.
They lied.
He knew about it before he even went up for re-election, is my guess.
Absolutely.
So they're trying to take him into a second term at one point with him having fatal prostate cancer on the board. And we are the idiots because Trump won. Like, come on.
Yeah, right.
Democrats screw themselves at this point. It's very obvious. And they don't have a way out.
Did you watch the his commencement address yesterday at Westminster?
I've read pieces of it.
My goodness. Well, I've seen clips. I didn't watch the whole thing. I was thinking of doing a whole video on just that. But man, it's embarrassing. It's Westminster, you know? Say something inspiring and motivating. Don't just bitch about all your political enemies. And God, It was terrible.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people that believe he's just on a pure vengeance fueled presidency, and everything he's doing is about trying to stay in power and take control, which is it's working.
Yeah.
I mean, it's happening, but there's definitely other people running behind the scenes. That reminds me, Elon Musk. I wanted to say this. A lot of people think Elon Musk failed. That is not true. That is not even a little true. He was 100% successful.
Opinion.
Is 100% successful when he went in there to do. So remember how we talked about tariffs? There takes time. There takes planning. You have to set out timelines. You have to get people in alignment. That's not what Musk did on any of this stuff. He went in with a hatchet and a flamethrower, and he burnt everything he could. Now, take aside he destroyed everybody that was investigating him or holding him back on his business level. If you listen
Corrupt,
and go back and
I would
read,
argue.
No, he built a database. He went in and grabbed information out of every agency he could. And he's assembled a database that has a full profile of every American and every non-American within our borders that we had information on. He has a complete data set, including nuclear information that he shouldn't have. So the information that they have is what they're starting to use to target all these people. Why do you think they're showing up to these courts so quickly? Why do you think they're doing all the stuff that they're doing? Is they're using this informational data set. And when you start really getting into it, I don't know which way you voted. Don't have to answer it. But anybody who voted Democrat in the last election, your name's on a list now. You are being watched from AI.
It's real exciting for me now that I make a bunch
fun.
of, political content. I'm real excited about that.
Yeah. And, they have officially charged a sitting representative for protesting outside of an ICE facility. So that started.
Yeah.
And now they're talking about doing more of that. I'm like, yep. This is all right out of the Nazi playbook. This is exactly how it's going.
On the media outlets already.
And, a third of the country is like, yeah, get that.
The boss, they're trying to get the boss. Yeah. I don't know. They claim to be the party of law and order, but they're taking away First Amendment rights, especially like from Harvard. I find that ridiculous that our government can go in and tell you who can be at that school.
Well, now they're passing new legislation to remove the ability to access certain stuff on the internet. Like they're filtering out different things on different platforms, and you're going to be denied access to URLs and websites. And you already are in certain places. Now it's getting more proliferant. They're going to just start blocking everything. So how China has the Great Firewall, we're moving towards that quickly. We're going to end up with our own U.S. firewall.
I can see it.
And our own subnets.
We're going to be a much less freer nation.
Well, if you look at what they're doing, they're creating a police state. I mean, this is how you keep people in line when they don't agree with your behavior. If you look at the voting that's happening, blue is hitting hard against Republicans and a lot of the special votes that are coming up right now. And if this continues before they can stop it, like there could be a flip of the balance, but I don't know. It's slow and there's a lot of room between now and the next big election cycle. Just enough time for the emergency powers to come in and shut down voting.
I think that'll happen. I think he's going to try to run. He's going to try to stay in power until he dies.
Yeah. The question is, are the Simpsons going to be right in this year or is it going to be in 20 years? Who knows?
Yeah. Right.
But even with that, like Vance is no better in my mind. And there's plenty of other people that can take power. And if you shut down the voting mechanic and they just keep appointing themselves and moving themselves into position using our current laws, there's not much we can do about that other than do something significant, which is what the Second Amendment's for.
Indubitably. Well, shit. You want to leave it there? Pick it up next week, or do you got some more stuff you want to talk about?
Your call.
I'm kind of out of stuff, but I mean, we had a good 30 minutes in. That's pretty good.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, if we're going to do it every week, I mean, I think if we get 30 minutes, anything above 20 minutes, I think will be great.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds good.
All right, let's chat up about the next topic like we did this week, and we'll do it again next week.
All right. I'll transfer some stuff to a Google Sheet and send it over to you.
Okay. Sounds like a plan, Jonathan Travis. Thanks, man.
My best wishes to you and yours.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you at the gym tomorrow. We'll see.
Definitely.
All right, bro. Later.
Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to Almost Above Average. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, leave a comment, and share it with a friend. It really helps us grow the community. Make sure to follow Almost Above Average on all your favorite podcast platforms, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for exclusive content you won't find anywhere else. We appreciate your support and can't wait to bring you more thought-provoking conversations next time.